when a remorseless attempt to attack the detective happens. Curtis Sagman, a 42-year-old, was the subject of an investigation by detectives due to allegations of murder and drug addiction. But everything he did will shock you. So without any delay, let's get into the details of this case. Born on September 3rd, 1980, Curtis Sagman resided on a farm located near Maple Ridge, a city in Canada. The farm served as his place of residence and was an essential setting in the investigation conducted by the detectives. Curtis's living conditions on the farm were described as less than ideal, as he made his home in a rundown RV. The farm itself likely encompassed a significant area of land, providing Curtis with space and privacy. Being situated outside the city of Maple Ridge, Curtis's farm would have been surrounded by natural landscapes and potentially neighboring properties. The farm's location became significant when a crashed gray Mazda was discovered nearby. A pivotal discovery in the investigation near Curtis Sagman's farm was the finding of a crashed gray Mazda vehicle in the vicinity. The car had come to rest on or near a bridge close to Curtis's family farm, attracting the attention of law enforcement. Upon closer examination of the area surrounding the crashed vehicle, additional items were found that added intrigue to the case. Furthermore, detectives noticed a trail of footprints leading away from the vehicle. Those footprints seemed to indicate that someone had been running or moving hastily, as the gaps between the prints were larger than what would be expected during a leisurely stroll. The combination of the crashed Mazda, the pink shoes, and the trail of footprints created a compelling narrative for the detectives. It was revealed that the owner of the crashed gray Mazda was a female escort. According to the gathered information, the female escort had responded to a Craigslist ad seeking intimate companionship. The presence of a masked man brandishing a shotgun suggesting a threatening situation, potentially endangering the safety and well-being of the escort. During the investigation into Curtis Sagman's potential involvement in the incident with the female escort and the masked man, detectives conducted a series of questioning sessions. Notably, their approach evolved from initially using aggressive language to adopting a calmer and more strategic method.
I haven't called any escorts to my house. Okay. I haven't met anyone here.
As the detectives delved deeper into the investigation surrounding Curtis Sagman, they obtained a search warrant to search his phone, hoping to uncover any potential evidence that could shed light on his involvement with the escorts. To their discovery, they stumbled upon multiple ads on Curtis's phone, explicitly requesting intimate companionship. The presence of these numerous ads painted a compelling picture, strongly suggesting Curtis's engagement with escorts or sex workers. Armed with this newfound evidence, the detectives confronted Curtis with this incriminating information. Curtis continued denying it, despite the discovery of the ads on his phone, presenting a challenge for the detectives. The detective tried a different approach to talking to the man and told him of the story of what the escort had said to him, making Curtis feel that he might have not done wrong or something. The detectives aimed to create a situation where the weight of the incriminating evidence against him became undeniable. Their intention was to build a case that would compel him to acknowledge the truth and potentially provide crucial details regarding his interactions with escorts. As the investigation into Curtis Sagman's potential involvement in the case progressed, the detectives started to piece together a theory that shed light on his possible motives and behavior. The detective, drawing from information gathered during the investigation, presented the theory that Curtis had a history of interacting with escorts and that at least one of these encounters had escalated into a physical altercation. That might not have paid her for services, and the truck is the compensation for that. He also said the escort is safe and they didn't tell Curtis, but they have his phone number and computer with everything checked in it.
Escorts up there to that property. I think that you have a history of being with escorts, and one of which you got into a physical altercation with, or at least that was the accusation. And that's when we got involved. We're getting her side of it. And for all I know, something else.
In the course of their investigation, the detectives obtained a warrant to search Curtis Sagman's residence, including his computers. The news of the computer seizure likely caught Curtis off guard, causing an immediate surge of emotions. Upon hearing that his computers had been seized, Curtis's reaction was visceral. He displayed a heated outburst, expressing his anger and dissatisfaction with the situation. The detectives, aware of Curtis's reaction, attempted to regain control of the situation and diffuse his anger.
You ever use the computers in the decided to seize them under warrant.
During the course of the interrogation, the detectives confronted Curtis Sagman with the gravity of the firearms offenses associated with the case. They felt it necessary to make him fully aware of the potential legal consequences and the severe penalties he could face if found guilty of such charges. The detectives took a straightforward and direct approach in warning Curtis about the implications of firearms offenses. They made it clear that a firearms offense was no minor matter. They stressed that the minimum sentence for such an offense was 4 years in jail, emphasizing the severity of the punishment. The seriousness of the firearms offenses and the potential jail sentence formed an integral part of their strategy to elicit truthful and cooperative behavior from Curtis. Following the intense interrogation, the details of the case took an even more disturbing turn. Although the specific details of this subsequent development were not captured in the interrogation footage, it was later discovered that human remains belonging to another escort were found on Curtis Sagman's farm. The investigation took a chilling twist when law enforcement authorities executed a search warrant on Curtis's property the day after his apprehension. During the search, detectives uncovered the remains of Tracy General, an 18-year-old girl who had been reported missing several months earlier. Tracy, like the other escort involved in the initial incident, had encountered a tragic fate while crossing paths with Curtis. The discovery of human remains on Curtis's farm sent shockwaves through the investigation. However, the police couldn't find a link to Curtis in this case. After a lengthy legal process, Curtis Sagman, the 42-year-old suspect in the original incident involving the shotgun, faced multiple charges related to his actions. The evidence presented during the trial painted a compelling picture of his involvement and raised serious concerns about his behavior. Ultimately, the court found Curtis guilty of various offenses stemming from the initial incident. These charges included dangerous misuse of a firearm, masking his face with intent to commit an offense, and possessing a weapon for a dangerous purpose. The court recognized the gravity of these offenses, which posed a threat to public safety and demonstrated Curtis's reckless and potentially harmful actions. In light of his convictions, Curtis received a sentence of 24 months in prison, which would normally require him to serve a significant period of time behind bars. However, due to pretrial credit, which takes into account the time he had already spent in custody awaiting trial, he was not required to serve any additional days in prison. Instead, he was released directly from the courtroom, albeit with certain legal implications and restrictions placed upon him.